What's happening right now in Iowa? I saw a tweet last night from a political reporter who said that they've been covering Iowa since 2000. And I guess there was a rally in Ames, AOC and Bernie Sanders. And they said they've never seen that kind of turnout, that Bernie had 1/4 of the crowd 6 months ago.
Wow.
And they had never seen a turnout like that at a rally. There is, I want to talk to you about all of this, obviously, but the polling is starting to show, like, it's just, we're getting poll out of poll. We're showing Bernie pulling away in Iowa and New Hampshire.
He's running with it right now.
One never knows.
Right.
But they apparently have asked, the Sanders campaign has asked volunteers to stop making phone calls from out of state into Iowa.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Because they were supposed to do 5 million. They've done 7 million.
Right.
And they now want people to stay in their home states, particularly if your primary is in March.
Yeah.
And start to go door to door.
Yep. If there's an office in your state, we don't have one in New York yet.
The texts I've been getting from Bernie have been a little different lately. At first it was like, I'm pulling up, I'm coming from behind, give me some money, Jamie. And now it's like, let's keep the momentum going.
Yeah.
We're doing great.
They should have audio. They should have like a system. There should be a way to do an audio text.
Oh, that's interesting.
That would be helpful to
Well, you
I
use
can
these
hear his
programs,
voice in my head.
Yeah,
when
you
I
don't
get
need an
the
audio
text.
because you're right. Everybody knows his voice.
I'm not opening a MP3 from some number I don't know.
That's true. Yeah.
No way.
Also, it's
Voicemail maybe.
you can't do that through the texting programs. You can't send, from what I understand, because we use those for our campaign. And I was like, oh, send a video or send a this. And they're like, yeah, we can't do that. We can only send this many words and tell people to RSVP to something.
Well, I'm going to get an app for my phone that reads all my texts in the Bernie voice. So then that'll solve the problem.
Can you do that?
Probably.
Do you remember when the GPS system hired Snoop Dogg to do one of the voices that was, available on your car 5 years ago?
I remember they were doing stuff like that. I don't know why they don't do more of that.
That's, you know what? Special perk. I will read your text for you for a month if you subscribe.
Careful. Careful what you wish for with those
fine
things.
print.
But here, I think this is the problem that Joe Biden's having. I mean, Joe Biden seems to be like sort of, I don't know if you could say he's cratering, but it feels like it. He is dropping to, tied more or less for third in a couple of these polls, maybe close to fourth in some. What? Go ahead.
So there's a little hot take. This is not my hot take, and I don't know if I can attribute it, but I'll ask the person later if I can attribute them on a forum. Very smart analysis. In Iowa, Buttigieg's support is very soft, and Biden is the main second choice given an electability screen. Biden could pick up a ton in the caucuses because of the perceived strength against Trump, which is scary to him because in his mind, Biden's very plausibly the weakest in general, obviously. And so he breaks down the polling because this is the poll that came out, New York Times poll, I think?
The Times Siena
poll that came out a couple days ago. That's why we have to pay attention to these second choices and these, electability numbers. And it's that's why it's so important that Bernie has such a strong lead. And
right.
It can't just be a couple points. He has to have 10%.
If Biden comes in second, it's I don't want to say it's a problem, but it's
a delegate problem.
It's a problem.
Yeah.
Because he needs to be thrashed, I think, to dislodge the foundations of his support in South Carolina.
Yep.
And in Texas, I think, to a certain extent, too, where it's just sort of built upon this notion that he is the guy who can beat Trump.
The weakness needs to be perceived by
He needs to be
exactly voters.
Because it's not Bernie could come in fourth and he's not going to lose his base.
Not at all. Yeah, they might get more fired up. People
right? Because their support for him is founded upon other things. I think that's true of Warren to a certain extent. Mm-hmm. I think Buttigieg is also sort of soft in that way, but Biden more than any of them, I think. If he comes in third or fourth in Iowa. If he comes in fourth in Iowa and third in New Hampshire, let's say.
Right.
If comes in third in New Hampshire, third in Iowa and fourth in New Hampshire. I think he's got some problems. I think it's like from the perspective of people who don't want Biden, obviously fourth in Iowa is best case scenario because then that'll affect where he is in New Hampshire and so on and so on. So
like how is he supposed to beat Donald Trump when he can't even beat this crazy socialist from Vermont?
well, it's also I think that's the idea, or anybody. Never mind the crazy socialists. He can't get ahead of Warren. He can't get ahead of Buttigieg. I mean, I think that's the whole point. That's why fourth, as opposed to second, is so key. But what also I think is hurting him is, one, I think it looked weak for him to say that he wasn't going to testify because people remember that Hillary Clinton was able to go in front of that Benghazi committee for 11 hours and basically, hand it to Trey Gowdy.
But she was not running at that point yet.
Well, she wasn't running, but I mean, it was an expectation that you would have of someone that, like, if they are completely being maligned, that they can go up and defend themselves.
For 12 hours, for however many hours, the man can't get off script.
Well, Biden could do it. He could come in and say, like, I'll testify, but we're limiting it to 2 hours.
But there's going to be a million issues that pop up. Aside from the fact that his son he gets defensive around this subject. He snapped at reporters. He snapped at voters. He's losing it.
Why?
I was just going to say, like, why would he not go in? But
that should be a sound on your...
How do we not have that? Why is that not coming up now? Maybe you get off your phone. That should be fun. You should have why in the background right now.
He's managing your Twitter. Come on. He's doing a million things at once.
I'm beatboxing. I'm a human sample.
All right. This is the other thing that I think...
Yeah, come on, man.
This is the other thing that I think is causing him